Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
Who here loves Mystic Mine? Yeah. Anyway, here is my deck profile for 2021 format. Yes, I know it's 2020. Blazing Vortex is not out yet, which there is a card in Blazing Vortex that will replace Pot of Extravagance. It is the new pot that allows you to banish 3 or 6 from your extra deck. You choose. Good thing. And you get to look at the top 3 or top 6 cards of your deck and add any of them, but you cannot draw for the rest of the turn, and your opponent takes half damage from what I remember. I'll bring it up on the screen so you can see. But for now, yeah, so let's begin. For the monsters, we play 3 Silent Wobby. What this card does is special to your opponent's side of the field, and they get to draw 1, and you get 2k life points. Though you don't worry about that because you play Mystic Mine first, then you play Silent Wobby, and you're golden. Now your opponent has a monster. They cannot activate Lightning Storm because it's face up. They cannot activate monster effects because it's face up. And they cannot do anything else. The next card you will play is 3 Planet Pathfinder. Basically, search as a field spell when you tribute it. Simple. Search Mystic Mine, then summon Silent Wobby. Though you can get ashed, which I have been ashed before. The MVP of the deck, Mystic Mine. Basically, the card says no to monster effects, not spells and traps. If none of you know what it does, it's if your opponent controls more monsters than you do, they cannot attack nor declare an attack. Sorry, they cannot declare an attack, and monster effects cannot be activated anywhere in their opponent's position, anywhere. But if you have your same amount of monsters on the field, it will die. That's bad. Terraforming to search out your Mystic Mine. Demise of a land. Basically, when your opponent special summons, you get to activate a field spell, which is obviously Mystic Mine. Your opponent cannot ash this because it activates it, not adds it, like this card here, Metaverse. And that's pretty much all. It's a quick play too, which means you can set it and activate it during your opponent's turn, which I love. How to protect your Mystic Mine? Free Field Barrier. Now this card allows you to protect your Mystic Mine even if there's no monsters, because it says field spell cards cannot be destroyed. Also, a new field spell cannot be activated. You can only control 1 face-up field barrier at a time, and you only need 1. Next is your draw cards. 3 Pot of Extravagance, which will be unfortunately taken out for Pot of Depravity, I think it's called, which is the next best Pot of Duality card. Speaking of Pot of Duality, look at the top 3 cards, or reveal the top 3 cards, then add 1 and shuffle the rest of the deck. You cannot special summon the turn, so it's a little bit counterintuitive to Silent Wobby, but you know, you need all the cards to add. And the last add card is Left Arm Offering. Left Arm Offering states that if you have 2 or more cards in your hand, you can activate it, banish all cards in your hand, add a spell. Simple enough, but you cannot set the turn you activate it. So you cannot set any spells or traps and activate this card, which is a little disappointing, but what can you do? Now, some of you will disagree with me, but with the current changing format, we must play some negates to your opponents, because if they go first and they set up, let's say your opponent is playing, where is it? I don't have my moment, but they're playing, oh yeah, here we go. Drytrons. They might set up your Herald, and they might set up Drytron Maternus Draconids, and if they set this up, then you can't play Mystic Mine because they'll just spit it. So what you do, you play 3 Dark Ruler. Yes, I know, if you go first, this is very, very bad, but say that to every other deck that runs bricks in their deck too. What this card does is you can negate all effect monsters, negate the effects of all face-up monsters your opponent controls, and for the rest of the turn, they cannot, until the end of the turn, and for the rest of the turn, they don't take any damage at all. So, and neither player can activate monster effects to this. Sure, that's counter to Cauldron, but this stops every monster effect. So, no Bowl of Savage, no Herald of Mirage Lights, no Draconoid spinning, no Lagia, Dolka putting face down, nothing, no Dragoon. Dragoon is another one. Now, again, you might think why, but I'm playing 2 Goddess Gold's Oracle and 2 Prohibition. Now, you're wondering why don't I run 3 and 3? Yes, I used to run 3 and 3, but with the current changing format, you don't want to see them as much. That's what I find. Goddess Gold's Oracle and Prohibition is a combo where you look at top 3 of your opponent's deck and stack them in any order, and Prohibition declares in that card's name they cannot be used for anything, which is a deadly combo sometimes. But because I don't want to see them as much, so I only play them at 2. Final Countdown and Cauldron. Now, some people are wondering why most decks run only Final Countdown, but I run Cauldron because there's a point where you want to kill your opponent as quickly as possible, and you can't wait 20 turns. Unless you're playing a deck like Eldritch, where you Prohibition the Golden Lord and they have no response, and you Final Countdown, they'll probably scoop. But Cauldron is there just in case you get to, like, let's say 9 turns, and then you draw Final Countdown. At least you have 7 turns for Cauldron. And now on for the traps. You only play 7 of them. Nothing's changed. 3 Solemn Judgment. It says no to everything except for monster effects, but Mystic Mine says no to that. 3 Dark Vibe. It says no to spells and traps. Lets your opponent draw a card, but at least you get to protect your Mystic Mine. That's pretty much what it's all about in this current format. And Metaverse. You can add a field spell or activate a field spell. They can ash this, so use it properly, or use it when you're very desperate. We'll go on to the extra deck. Now, the extra deck can be any 15 cards you want. It doesn't matter. People play Link Spider, people play anything to do with tokens. I like a full Maximus package. So, Fossil Warrior Skull Knight. Basically, when it's in the grave, you banish it, target a monster in the field, and pop it. Simple enough. 3 Intis. Basically, if it's entered the grave, you target 1 card on the field and destroy it. Basically, yeah, so the Maximus. This next card, I probably will play Link Spider, but for now, it's just in here. 2 Macabre. The Macabre goes with the Nova, but obviously with Mystic Mine you don't want monsters. I played this in UAs because UAs don't require extra deck. These could be taken out for any 4, so Link Spiders, any other monster that you can use it for. Toad, that's come back 3. Nova, Omega at 1, which was back at 2 or 3, but you know, don't want hand loop degenerates, hand loops. 2 Winged Pegasus. Basically, when a card leaves the field on your side, is destroyed by battle or opponent's card effect. While this card's on the field or in the grave, you can banish this card, take it 1 card your opponent controls, and shuffle it in the deck. Pretty good. Target slow, a little bit bad, and 2 Toad, which probably can go to 3. Basically, target a water monster in your grave and shuffle it back into the deck. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the monsters. As I said, 15 extra deck monsters that you can use. You can choose your own favorite. You can choose random ones. The side deck is going to be changed with the meta. For now, it's probably going to be combating Drytrons a lot. So 3 Gamma Seal. Basically, Dragoons can't do Drytons if they pull up the full combo. The full combo is basically if they play Vanity's Emptiness, Healed, and Draconoids. Very annoying. That's why you have Dark Ruler no more. 3 Gamma Seal. 3 Lightning Storm. And 1 Harpy Feather. That's the Eldritch. Any back row, you know your opponent's going to side on all the back row hate against you because you're playing Mystic Mine. Yep, I've basically had so many people side in so many cards. I've had one person side 15 cards for my deck, from the side deck, because they hated Mystic Mine that bad. 1 Cauldron to take away the final counter, because I find final counter bad. It's good sometimes, but bad. So I sided out for Cauldron because at least it kills your opponent in 7 turns, not 20. Prohibition, just in case you want to side it in, because you really need to call something very quick, like if they're playing Eldritch, you call Golden Lord. If you're playing Virtual World almost instant loses if you call the trap, the Virtual Gate, where it banishes, or brings back a virtual card and destroys a face-up card. And yeah, you call it, they all lose. 3 Impermanence. I know people have been playing this before. I didn't, but now because of Herald of Mirage and Draconoids, you need a way to out it. And last but not least, Curse Seal basically says no when you discard a spell to any spell and they cannot use it for the rest of the duel. So Cosmic Cyclone, if you hit it, can't use the rest. Trench Resistance can't hit the rest. Lightning Storm can't hit the rest. But also can be worked if your opponent is playing, I don't know, Draconoids. You hit the Ritual spell. And then if you hit the Ritual spell, oh no, they cannot Ritual for the rest of the turn. Duel. Which means they can't do anything except Tribute and some big guys. And hopefully by then you have Mystic Mine and win. So that's it for the deck profile. Now, I know on my image it says tips and tricks. Well, the next video I will be posting up will be how to defeat Mystic Mine if you struggle out there to defeat Mystic Mine. Yes, I know it's counterintuitive. I'm posting a deck about Mystic Mine and basically saying play Mystic Mine. No, don't play Mystic Mine if you don't really want to be hated by your friends. But it's a deck and Konami has brought it out and left it off the ban list, and you need to know how to beat it. That will be the next video, but for now, how to play with it, or tips and tricks. So if, let's say you have Solemn Judgment, where is it? Potted Duality, and Demise of the Land. Now, most people will be like, oh my god, I'll just activate Pot and see what I find. I find that's bad, because the moment you play Pot, your opponent is going to be like, oh, for Veil, let's say Mystic Mine, and a couple other stuff. You can add Mystic Mine, but you can't do anything with it. And they're like, okay, now he's playing Mystic Mine. I don't want to summon monsters. I want to try and get my outs. What I like to do is set 2 and pass turn. Now your opponent's thinking, is he playing Eldritch? Is he playing some other rogue deck? So they're going to just do the normal thing, because Eldritch against Draconoids is a good matchup for Eldritch. So they do their thing, they special summon, and bam! You slam down the Demise. Yes, if you're playing a deck that doesn't special summon, oh well. But that's just one of the things you have to contest, and if you have it, then Demise into Mystic Mine. That's one trick. There's not really much tricks, you just have to figure out. That's pretty much what I like to do. I like to just play smartly, let your opponent not know you're playing Mine. Once you play Mine, then yeah, cat's out of the bag. You have to face the negations on board. Oh, but siding. So obviously, siding, if you're playing against a deck that brings out a monster within the gate that you can't get rid of. That's where Gamma Seal, signing up Potted Dualities for Gamma Seal. If you're placing back row decks, obviously you will side in the 3 Lightning Vortex, Lightning Storm. If you are going second, you can side out the Demises for, and probably a Field Barrier, because Field Barrier is not that good. It's good to keep mine alive, but it's not good going second. And you can throw those in. If you are playing, let's say you're playing against, again, Drytrons, Draconoids, and Mirage Light, you can side in your Dark Ruler No More and your permanents. For this, you probably take out your Demises, as I said, and yeah, you put those in against Dino. You don't really need to do anything, just maybe Gamma Seals if you're afraid of a monster that you can't out. Some Dino players are playing the Spell and Trap card Negator, so you can put in the perms or just leave the Dark Ruler No Mores in there. I find that probably Dark Ruler No More, but if you need extra negates, then perm. What else? Against Dino, Invoked, Shadow, you just Gamma Seal, Impermanence, Dark Ruler No More them. Eldritch, Core Golden Lord, Zoo, Core Trident, or you just Gamma Seal them, or you Dark Ruler No More, stop the Trident, and you are golden. Apart from that, there was not much else to defeat Mystic Mine. Yeah. Well, I thank you for joining me on this journey